What's going on, everyone? Bran here from Bloody Breakdown, and today we're going to talk some Saw. You guys want to talk Saw? So we're not talking about Spiral. No. We're not talking about that film that hasn't even released yet. No, we're not talking about the 9th installment in the Saw franchise. We're talking about Saw X, the 10th installment in the Saw franchise, which, as you can probably tell by the title of this video and the article that we're looking at right over here, that way, is in development currently. Yes, before Spiral has even hit theaters, before the 9th entry hits, the 10th entry is already in development. They may be jumping the gun, I don't know. But before we get into it, everyone, want to do a little bit of a quick shilling. If you do enjoy today's video, let me know, let YouTube know by leaving a thumbs up and subscribing and turning on notifications so you'll know when I go live or upload. Also, check down below in the description section. You'll see a link to my Twitter if you'd like to follow me there. I'll probably follow you back if you talk a lot about horror, or tweet, rather. And a link to the Patreon where you could be like Raoul the Great and become a producer of this content and what it is we do here at Bloody Breakdown. Excuse me. So, enough shilling. Let's jump into this thing. I'm kind of torn on this one. I got to be honest with you. I am. It's on one side of the fence. There's so much they could do with a potential sequel, even though I haven't seen the latest one yet. Doesn't mean they have to go the direction of a direct sequel to Spiral. Just theorizing here. And then on the other hand, it's hold on. Let's kind of see what happens here. Let's see maybe if Spiral is really good and we should follow this story, or kind of maybe it's like another Jigsaw and it's not that good and maybe we should kind of do something new or jump back to the original storyline. I don't know, but I am torn about it. Let's go ahead and get into the article so we have all the nitty gritty, all the details. So as you can see, Saw franchise targets milestone 10th film as development is underway. So let's go ahead and jump into the article here. It says, it's about time we start thinking of Jigsaw as one of the biggest slashers in horror history, placing him right alongside with that of Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Chucky, and even Pinhead. I would say Ghostface too, but hey, whatever. I guess we're talking number of sequels. With Lionsgate set to revitalize the franchise next month with Spiral, the Chris Rock-fronted 9th film that brings Saw 2 through 4 director Darren Lynn Bousman back behind the camera, producers Twisted Pictures have already begun development on the milestone 10th entry. So in their latest issue, Production Weekly lists Saw X as being in active development. It's caused a lot of flurry on Reddit as hardcore fans noted that James Wan's Atomic Monster is listed as one of the film's producers. And the article does get into this, but this is something that a lot of people got really super hyped about at first, was, if Wan's more involved than he has been in any of them since the second one, maybe we get a return to form. Maybe Saw gets a total revamp from the guys who created the concept. Read on. So it says here, the thought here was that Wan, who made his directorial debut in the first Saw in 2004, had returned to develop the 10th film in the franchise. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Wan, as one of the co-creators next to Leigh Whannell, has been a producer on every single entry since the beginning. Bloody Disgusting has confirmed that Atomic Monster is listed in error and not involved in the forthcoming film, and I can assure you that Wan has not returned as an active participant. So James Wan is still pretty much doing the same thing he's done with this franchise since the second onward. So as cool as that sounds, don't get your hopes up about that one. It doesn't look like that's the case at all. However, with all that said, we can confirm a 10th film is actively being developed. What that means exactly is up in the air, as Twisted Pictures and Lionsgate are notorious for pivoting in different directions throughout the process. That is also a very good point. It's also possible that the box office for Spiral in theaters on May 14th could affect the future of the franchise. but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. As for now, Jigsaw's games will continue on and absolutely live in infamy within horror history. So I can't disagree with the end of that article. I got, getting to your 10th film in your franchise is pretty historic. Even in the, a genre like slashers that are known for multiple sequels, even still to get to a 10th sequel. I mean, that's pretty rare air. I mean, you can joke about it, you can make fun of it, and I get that. But at the same time, that's saying that 9 films preceded this were at least financially successful to the point to where, a production group wanted to do it again. So I have to say that does speak volumes, and that is cool. It really is to see Saw in that rare air with, franchises like Halloween and things of that nature. I think that's cool. Now, are they jumping the gun on this? I would say so. I don't, I'm no expert here, and I don't know how far along into the development this is. I would assume it's extremely early stages. I would hope that nothing big would go into this development until, at least a week or two after the release of Spiral, at the very minimum, to kind of see how things are taken by the public with this new one. Is it going to be financially successful? Is it going to be critically successful? These are things that I think need to be taken into account before you decide, A, if there's going to be a sequel at all, and B, if it's, what are you going to do with this sequel? Because that's one thing that I'm most excited / concerned about. If you're developing a Saw X, a Saw 10, what do you do with it? And that's why I think you really got to see what happens with Spiral, what pans out. Because at that point, you really have a handful of options, as I kind of alluded to at the beginning of this video. You can either make a direct sequel to Spiral. If it's critically and financially successful, I see no reason why not to, especially with the bigger acting names that you have in this film than you've had in past Saw films. Do you go back and do something with Jigsaw? Because that, it was tied in with the original films, but it kind of was its own thing to a degree. Do you go back and do something with that? Fingers crossed that's not the case. Not a big fan of Jigsaw, the film Jigsaw. Love this franchise as a whole. I don't hate Jigsaw, but I think it's one of the weaker entries. Or do you go back to the original films that were released annually and go back and do something with that? I would like to see that, but I think at this point it may be a little bit too far gone. I think the chances of us getting a Dr. Gordon, comeback, getting a Hoffman Gordon battle or whatever, as cool as that would be to someone like me, who's a fan of this franchise and has been since the beginning, I think the time is kind of came and gone on that one. Maybe that one's the sun has set there. As cool as that would be, but what do you do with it? There's just so many different avenues I think that are possible, even just off the top of the dome, not including things that you could dream up going in a new direction, doing something different, making what I'm assuming this Book of Saw thing could be a different film, a different story, from people who kind of idolize and emulate Jigsaw. That would be cool too. Almost take it in a sort of quasi Scream way where there's a different person doing it every time. And almost to a degree, if the tactics change enough as they look like they are in Spiral, almost kind of like an anthology, where it's kind of generally the same story, but different people every time. So, I mean, I there are ways to make what I would consider a good Saw X, which, by the way, is just a badass name. It's so simple, but it works. But I just hope that Lionsgate and Twisted Pictures and anyone and everyone else involved are going to take all those avenues into consideration before jumping on to do something else. That's really what concerns me so much about Saw X going into development before Spiral has even seen a theater. That part concerns me. But I do have to say, bravo once again to the Saw franchise for making it this far. Like I said earlier, not an easy feat to do. Is something that a lot of slasher films and horror films in general get mocked for having, their multiple sequels, prequels, remakes, reboots, legacy sequels. But it is a testament to the staying power of a franchise to have that many films under the belt, and props to them. That's awesome. But I really, really hope that Spiral is good because the trailer looks amazing. First and foremost, I don't want to jump over Spiral and start concentrating on something, so far into the future. And I really hope, not only do I hope it is a critical success, I hope the film is just good, but I really hope it's a financial success, especially in this pandemic era we're in as far as the movie theater goes. We're starting to see movies make some good money again. So I hope Spiral joins that club of, films that actually made really good money during all this. And I just hope that the producers make a good decision on such a big sequel for the franchise. So yeah, I guess that's going to be about all from me. Let me know what you all think down below in the comment section. Are they jumping the gun on this? What are your thoughts on a Saw X already being in development? And what would you like to see out of it? So yeah, I guess with all that said, kind of going back to the beginning of the video, like I said, if you enjoyed this video, which by now you'll have an answer to that question, let YouTube know by giving this video a thumbs up. If you did enjoy it, subscribe and turn on notifications if you haven't already. I take a look at my analytics. I see how many of you are watching this channel and are not subscribed. That is a travesty. Remedy that right now. And yeah, also check down below in the description section, ladies and gents. You will see not one but two links. One to my Twitter at bloody_Bran, where I talk about nothing but horror. Tweet about it, even, as you could probably tell. And one to the Patreon, where you could become like Ral the Great, a producer of my content here on Bloody Breakdown. I'm eternally grateful to him. I'm eternally grateful to all my patrons. Thank you all so much. And you could become one too if you enjoy my content. Head on over to that link down below at patreon.com and support the channel. I would be eternally grateful. So yeah, with that said, I'm Bran from Bloody Breakdown. Let me know what you all think about this Saw X thing. Are you excited for it? What would you like to see out of it? And yeah, I guess with that, I'll catch you all next time.